Welcome to Module 1 and this course, Climate Solutions Journalism, a community-informed and equity-focused approach. My name is Hugo Balta. I'm the publisher of the Latino News Network and an accredited solutions journalism trainer. I'm very grateful you decided to join. It means you are at the very least intrigued by solutions journalism and how it might enhance your reporting skills. Great. We at Solutions Journalism Network believe journalists gain a lot when they look at responses to problems. A wide variety of compelling stories simply don't get covered. Why? Journalism has traditionally been resistant to seeing responses as legitimate fodder for investigation. Some reporters and editors fear it will be perceived as advocacy, fluff, or PR. If you think similarly, I hope to change that perception. Solutions journalism is rigorous, compelling coverage of responses to social problems, reporting with the highest journalistic standards. Solutions journalism, what is it and why should I care, is the title and the subject of the first reading for this module, published by The Whole Story. The article observes that while journalists usually define news as what's gone wrong, solutions journalism tries to expand that definition. Responses to problems are also newsworthy. Our responsibility as journalists is to hold up an accurate mirror to society. If we fail to cover the many ways people and institutions are trying to solve problems, successful or not, we fail to do our jobs. Here is a basic question that is often asked of me. How do I know it's solutions journalism? Here are 4 criteria for writing or producing a solutions journalism story. These criteria inspire us and are the foundation of defining solutions journalism in practice. These criteria can be applied flexibly for diverse narrative styles and story formats. Even with flexibility, each solution story should contain all 4 pillars to some degree. Number 1, a solution story focuses on a response to a social problem and how that response has worked or why it hasn't. If the story doesn't describe a response, it's not solutions journalism. That response should be explained in the context of the problem it's trying to address, and the story should delve into how it works. The problem solving drives the narrative, and the tension is in the inherent difficulty of solving a problem. Documenting the causes of that problem will clarify the opportunity for a solution to create leverage and impact. 2. The best solutions reporting distills the lessons that make the response relevant and accessible to others. In other words, it offers insight. What makes solutions journalism compelling is the discovery, the journey that brings the reader or viewer to an insight into how the world works and perhaps how it could be made to work better. Third pillar, solutions journalism looks for evidence, data, or qualitative results that show effectiveness or lack thereof. Solution stories are upfront with audiences about what evidence tells us and what it doesn't. A particularly innovative response can be a good story even without much evidence, but the reporter has to be transparent about the lack and about why the response is newsworthy anyway. And finally, reporting on limitations is essential. Solution stories reveal a response's shortcomings. No response is perfect, and some work well in one community, but may fail in others. A responsible reporter covers what doesn't work about it and places the response in the context. So solutions journalism is reporting on a response to a problem, successful, partially successful, or failed, and the associated results, usually with a narrative that reveals how the results were produced and explores what can be learned from the effort. A solution story will never claim a program is 100% successful. There's no such thing, and no one will believe such a claim. You have more authority and credibility if you describe limitations. Done well, solution stories provide valuable insights that help communities tackle problems like homelessness or rising housing prices or low voter turnout, and of course, climate change. Research also shows that solution stories can change the tone of public discourse, making it less divisive and more constructive. By revealing what has worked, such stories have led to meaningful change. In the second reading, Going Full Doomsday, Reporters Must Convey the Perils of Climate Change Without Paralyzing Their Audience, Cassandra Williard writes that according to the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication, Americans fall into 6 groups when it comes to climate change: alarmed, concerned, cautious, disengaged, doubtful, and dismissive. And she added a 7th: panicked. I agree. As Willard wrote, generating worry can lead to behavioral change, according to the research on risk communication. But Sharon Dunwoody, a journalism professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, says, if you generate absolute terror, you can have the opposite effect. In July, I had the opportunity to be the moderator for a solutions journalism workshop and panel discussion focused on climate coverage at the National Association of Hispanic Journalists annual conference. I was fortunate to speak with 3 distinguished speakers on the Climate Solutions How Journalists Equitably Engage Communities panel organized by the Solutions Journalism Network. All of them participated in SJN's Climate Beacon Newsroom Initiative, where a diverse and talented group of 20 journalists came together to write climate solutions pieces and work towards a solutions journalism practice that requires empathy, self-reflection, and an honest reckoning with how mainstream media culture has led to the alienation of many groups whose voices, historically and currently, have not been heard or represented. Camille Alejandra Padilla Dalmau, founder of 9 Millones from San Juan, Puerto Rico, was among the guest speakers I spoke with. Her work is centered on the belief that we must prioritize our relationship to tell stories with dignity. 9 Millones takes a different approach than traditional coverage. Journalists focus on community and concrete solutions rather than the federal policies and political status in a community on an island that has been hard hit by climate disasters. In the third reading, Camille discusses integrating hope in climate reporting and what the 9 Millones team learned about community outreach as a solutions journalism climate beacon. In the panel at NHJ, Camille said it's vital to be strategic and intentional when doing community outreach. She asked you to consider these questions to guide your strategies. Why does your newsroom want to do community outreach? Example, we want to educate organized communities about solutions journalism so they can propose ideas. Create criteria. We want to reach out to organized communities that are advocating for climate justice and are directly affected by coastal erosion. And define success. Success, for example, would be to write 2 stories about climate solutions in a span of 2 months. So there you have it. Solutions journalism focuses on how people respond to social issues rather than just highlighting the problems themselves. By applying the 4 pillars of response, evidence, limitations, and insights, solutions journalism stories investigate what was done, why it worked or didn't, and what can be learned from the response. Telling the whole story in news coverage is in itself an essential climate solution. In the next video, Steve McLaughlin, Emmy Award-winning meteorologist at NBC6 South Florida, will speak with us about his work with another guest speaker I spoke with at the Solutions Journalism Climate Coverage panel at NHJ, Ariel Rodriguez. Steve will share how his newsroom embraced collaboration and solutions coverage of climate change and why there was an urgent need to rethink the way they conceptualized and executed their stories. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.